Hey there, Karen here with my buddy Whiskey Sour. It's been quite a week. I know my emotions generally speaking in my life, my emotions go up and down and up and down and up and down, like most people. You know, you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're frustrated, or you go through your whole series of emotions that you have. That's fine. But it seemed to all kind of congregate this week. Just like second week of November, wham, you know, it's like my grandma dies, and then a whole bunch of drama happened, and there were some family problems that happened, and some work drama, and it was just like, it didn't seem to let up all week. When I sit in front of the camera and talk to you guys, it feels like when I kind of have this, I'm sharing with you, but it's really good for me to just write and do this. It's been very good for me. There's a few things I do in my day that I look for that just are mine, my time, a way that I can just express myself, or a way that I can just heal a bit, or calm down a bit, or rest, or whatever. So I find those things in my day. But it's been a crazy week. My life in general has been very crazy. But I think it's funny when a whole bunch of stuff will happen. You know, where they go, bad things happen in threes. This week it was like bad things happened in like 18. It's just insane. I'm almost at the point of laughing at it all, you know, just because it's so crazy how it all hit. But not laughing at the things that happened, just laughing at the fact that it all happened at the same time. You get to the point where you've been through every single emotion, and then you're giddy, you know, like that's kind of where I'm at. I'm giddy. Went from heavy to giddy. But today I wrote a blog that was brought on by one of the instances that happened this week. And I called it, "You Just Had to Punch That Gift Horse, Huh?" There's a hysterical scene in Anchorman. You will probably notice that I will quote Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell more than any two other actors out there. Mike Myers, I like to quote him a lot too. Just as far as funny actors go, I have all my poets and people like that I quote. But as far as funny actors, Will Ferrell I tend to go to a lot, because the scenes are just hysterical and the dialogue's so funny. But there's a really hysterical scene in Anchorman between him and Veronica Corningstone, she is the new sexy woman at the news station, and Will Ferrell is the top anchorman, and it's his duty to go introduce himself, keeping in mind this is the 70s, you know, or just the way men act and stuff is really funny. But the dialogue went, he says to her, "I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal." And she says, "Really?" And he says, "People know me." And she says, "Well, I'm very happy for you." And he says, "I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany." I love that whole movie, but that scene particularly, I think, is just so funny because, you know, he's put on this kind of arrogant, egotistical attitude, and he's kind of standing there in this awful robe in his underwear and just trying to come off looking really cool, you know, it's just funny. And when you watch it, you laugh at how over the top it is. As though nobody actually talks that way. And I didn't think so for a really long time either. I just thought these are funny things that happen in movies. As it turns out, writers tend to write things based on things or people they see, right, along the way. You would think that I would be referring to big Hollywood actors, but I'm really not. I've met a lot of celebrities and stuff in my time, but I don't really find, when I think about the arrogant, egotistical people that I've met along the way, it's not the big stars. It's the real life people are the ones who think they're bigger than they really are, and they have to make a point of letting everyone know what they've accomplished, what they've done, how big they really are. And many people have worked very hard to get to the top of their field, and I respect that. You know, it's fine. I have a healthy respect for you if you worked really hard to get to the top. But I never want to hear from that person how good they are. It just doesn't sound good. It just, whatever it is, I just don't want to hear you say how good you are. And you know, I run into these types of people that are just kind of like, maybe they feel like they've worked really hard, and then they have that sense of entitlement or whatever, but it's just like, how fun is that? Oh yeah, I'm standing at the top all by myself. Screw everyone else, you know. And most of my experience with ego is in the entertainment industry. Some ego is good. You have to be able to get up on stage. You see some of the big rock stars. that have a certain amount of ego when they get up on stage, and that's good, so that you can go out there and put on a very daring, unapologetic performance. This is a good thing. And that's a healthy confidence that you can deliver to your audience. But then there's an ego, which is just plain arrogance. You can't even call it anything else. You just look at the person, you're like, I can't believe those things came out of your mouth. Much like Ron Burgundy saying to Veronica Corningstone, you just can't believe that dialogue happened. You're just standing there. You can't believe somebody talks that way. So those kinds of things just like hit me sideways when I hear it, because I can't believe it. There's nothing wrong with having that healthy confidence so that you can deliver your performance, but when you have that plain arrogance where you have a sense of entitlement and you don't believe in being a team player, these are the people that just end up screwing themselves. They just do. I see it happen all the time, and I want to save them from doing it, and they topple, there they go, you know, just, you can't believe it. And the thing about the music industry is, as big as people think it is, it's especially small. And it's very interwoven, and you can screw yourself pretty quickly. So for anybody out there who's an aspiring musician or wants to be in the entertainment industry, my top advice I would give you is or at least a fact I could share with you, is that it is way smaller than you think it is. And it's the most stupid thing you could possibly do to screw your own career is to pull ego, or to act like you're entitled to something. Not even the top dogs in the industry now can get away with it. If Ellen DeGeneres walked out on stage and just all of a sudden had this big-headed entitlement kind of attitude, like, her audience would reject her, and it's because your audience can see right through that. Just go be yourself. Like, what's the big deal? Like, why do you have to put on this egotistical attitude? And nobody wants to see it. It's almost impossible for me to connect with an artist if I see that, or an entertainer, or a musician, or a writer, anybody like that. Well, pretty much anybody. I have a really tough time connecting with somebody who is just constantly looking out for number one. I have a hard time, because I just have a hard time slotting myself, like, how do I work with this person who doesn't want to work with anybody? It makes it very difficult. And looking out for number one is something that we're taught as children. This is the thing, is there's a paranoia that society's out to get you and stuff, and so you got to really fight your way through it and just punch everybody out on the way. You know, and just but the flaw in that is that that child only has the potential of looking out for themselves, and which in the entertainment industry does not bode well. These are generally creative types, the people who are really nice and really easy to get along with, and who are hard workers. They want to have team players. It's just simply how it goes, and it's hard for people to see that, because sometimes we just see the ego of the entertainers in the music industry on the news channels. And you know, you've seen many people do this at award shows, get up on stage and so show some ego, and then an entire sector of the audience rejects them. Like, that's awful, you know. But once again, here I am this week seeing another classic case of someone who punched a gift horse directly in the center of its mouth. Just punched them right in the middle of the mouth, you know, metaphorically. Punched them in the middle of their mouth. And it was based on ego, and consequently burned the bridge completely, like put as many bombs underneath the bridge as a person could put, and just blew the whole thing up, like that scene in Tropic Thunder, you know, where the whole bridge just goes up, like just burned the whole bridge. I'm just standing there going, I can't believe you just sucker punched that gift horse. Just so unbelievable. And this was to a team who was trying to give him an opportunity, you know. And I can't believe it. I'm just like, I think this dialogue only belongs back in the 70s, like that Anchorman movie. It's really unbelievable, but it happens, you know. And we're truly living in times where I feel, I always make sure I try to say that community is the best thing that can happen to an artist, and that this old school mentality of just doing things for oneself, that's still hanging on by threads, really sad little threads. A sense of entitlement or arrogant behavior doesn't seem to be limited to just ego-driven jobs like the arts. People find it in their own workplace. You know, I'm sure many of you have been at your work and have had to deal with the Dwight of the office or something, you know, just somebody who's the know-it-all looking out for number one, will punch everybody out on the way, and when they are given an actual opportunity where somebody wants to give them a chance or a shot at something, they sucker punch the gift horse just because they didn't get their way, or, you know, it wasn't enough about them, or whatever the case is. And that's really, really tough. There's always that kind of person that's somewhere between you and the boss, but or they want to put themselves between you and the boss, but they're really not even there, you know. And it's tough to deal with because it not only makes you uncomfortable, but it puts this huge, heavy cramp in your whole workplace. And people who feel like they have received the raw end of the stick for their life can feel that sense of entitlement. I've noticed this with people where they work so hard, and everybody just seems to be screwing them continuously on the way out, so they put up that front of, well, I'm just going to look out for me. But then they come across to brand new people who just want to love them as being arrogant or egotistical. So people with poor self-esteem can feel entitled. People who haven't interacted with enough people in their life can feel that way. I would see some people from my small town walk into a bigger recording studio, and they're in the studio for like a minute, and they stuck their foot, both feet, just directly into their mouth, because they thought that by acting like they knew more than they really did, or by, you know, pumping the air in through their thumb into their bicep, that they could gain the admiration and attention of everyone around them. And it's I see them falling, and I just want to grab them because I just think, oh, dude, you have some talent, you know, you could have done something. And the truth of the matter is that if this person would have been more grateful for the opportunities he was given and would have just slotted himself in to the team mentality, he would have grown with everyone. But by being a good listener, I think that goes a lot farther than talking too much, coming from the girl who talks too much. Bullying a group meeting or a conference call or something to try and get people to notice you, or just pulling that prima donna thing where you don't feel like you were given enough because of who you are and your credentials, that people didn't give you enough, and so you have that sense of entitlement. It's not going to impress, and you're probably going to shove yourself back down the ladder that you're trying so desperately to topple. And on top of that, you sabotage the efforts of the team, and that just put you on the no-call list. You know, it's a very sad reality. So it's really sad when it has to reach that. I think, I feel, I believe those things go a long way when you're just having some normal dialogue. There's nothing wrong with talking about your feelings without dominating the group and with things that you consider facts. That's fine. You know, it's just if you can do it without acting so factual about it and acting so dominating or domineering. I think that's... But here's my opinion on the ladder. There's one ladder that has been around for decades, but it's not that way anymore. It has become a very wide staircase, a very majestic staircase with enough room for all of us. If we just walk hand in hand and take care of each other, everybody can walk majestically up this staircase. It doesn't have to be this one ladder anymore. And people who are still trying to look out for number one they're just going to sit miserably by themselves, and they're going to miss the opportunity to be part of a community who's willing to help them. And it doesn't have to be lonely at the top. We should be able to heal, to grow, and excel. But I think it's better to do it as a team. But of course, that's just me with a bunch of junk that I think, feel, and believe. I am always sad when one person makes the decision to play outside the team. It bothers me because I want everyone to be able to play. But I also know when to allow these controlling people to go their own way. So I'm just going to go see if the gift horse is okay now with that whole drama. But it's been a pretty heavy week. But like I'm laughing at all, but I hope that sometimes these little messages can reach people so that they don't just screw their own careers, you know. It's tough, really tough. But anyway, I've blithered on long enough. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Thanks again for all your loving email. You guys are so amazing. All right, till next time. Rock on, whiskey.